I gather it's going to be one of the songs coming up in the Leon Ware set. Is Quincy Jones didn't know that Al Jarreau was able to sing. Al Jarreau was always coming to the studio, but Quincy Jones had no idea that the dude could sing. That's a fascinating thing. He was always a backup. He was always a backup singer. They always kept him on backup. And then when they put him on, they put him on the album called Body Heat, and it was with Leon Ware and Minnie Riperton. It was like, whoa, even Quincy Jones was like, whoa, I didn't know he had the chops. So that was the fascinating thing about Al Jarreau, who passed a couple of weeks ago. We had played in the set. We had Morning, Distraction, Tell Me What I Have to Do, and then a Take 5 live set. And that was also played I'll Be With You. That was off of Bernie Worrell album, All the Wool in the World, but it was the lead singer was Juni Morrison. Juni Morrison was a fabulous musician, just one of the great and fabulous musicians all around. And another fascinating, just jumping off of Juni and going back to Al, another fascinating thing about Al Jarreau, he was from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. What he said in interviews, he used to come down to Chicago and perform all the time. Had to. The music scene in Chicago, even though musicians here probably say it's not as great as it probably is in New York or LA. If you're in Milwaukee, that's the best. This is the next best thing. So that's one of the fun and fascinating things that you can find out and listen to from Al Jarreau. We got some Leon Ware coming up. Leon Ware, fascinating cat. Is really a lot of people don't know about him. You find out about Leon Ware you have to be a musician's musician in order to know about Leon Ware. The fascinating thing about him, the great thing and fascinating thing about him is that he gifted the album I Want You, the Marvin Gaye album I Want You, and then he also did some other work for Marvin Gaye. He gifted I Want You to Marvin Gaye, gave it to him as a gift. And Marvin turned it into an absolute classic, a smash, whatever you want to call it, but he gave it to him. That's the fascinating thing about that. He wrote it, he produced it, he arranged it, and he ultimately wound up playing songs on the album, but it's funny how things work out. We all know Marvin Gaye. Very few people know about Leon Ware. That's it. And he's, like I say, he's the best way to describe Leon Ware. He is a musician's musician. You would have to be in. I'm not a musician, but I just have a love for music. You would have to be a musician to get and appreciate Leon Ware, and it's unfortunate, but it is in his depth from cats like me playing a guy having small shows like this, playing his music, and people go, oh, and that's how you get it. And then he's also greatly sampled. When I go into the rap, when I do the sampling show, I'm going to call it the sampling show, where it's going to be the R&B song, and then it's hip hop doppelganger, where the two beats will collide. Because remember, our generation, they took live instrumentation out of the school primarily. And so there was very few schools that played live instruments and had, music class where you learned how to play a guitar or a trumpet or the horn or whatever the case, or a piano. Very few places like that. So they existed like that. So that's one of the fun things and fascinating things that you can get, that you will get from this is from that show that I'm going to put on, probably start next week. Let's just go ahead and start, because I've been putting it off long enough. So and Alvin Washington, he said, do your research. So I told Big Homie I was going to do my research, and so I've done my research, and so it's a lot of stuff that I grew up on, listening to hip hop. And I listen to the older music and older selections I play, and it's a lot of stuff that go on. I find myself, I'm quite sure you're gonna go, and it's one of those. It'll be an old show. Oh, that's who did this. It'll be that's who did this. I didn't know. Just playing the song. What was that? Super J or Susie Thunder Tussie. That was Kanye West came back with No Parties in L.A. He did a track he took Susie Thunder Tussie by Juni Morrison. That's the name of the song. I'm not making this up. It's called Susie Thunder Tussie. He took that track and then he called No Parties in L.A. So it'll be fun stuff like that. We'll be where we looking and digging into the crates and finding the doppelgangers for those particular songs. Rest in peace to Judge Wapner. Just found out that Judge Wapner, he just passed today. He was 97 years old. Was living in hospice. I remember my older brother. He used to get high. Me and him. He used to get high And we used to watch the People's Court. I'd be high off his contact smoke. He'd be high from off the actual smoke, and we'd be watching the People's Court together. I remember that. He'd eat up all the peanut butter cookies. You couldn't keep a peanut butter cookie around that cat when he was getting high. Anyway, it was Judge Wapner passed today. It was 97 years old. He was living in a hospice. And one of the facts, I was looking up his bio, just really quick, reading his bio. There was Letterman and Johnny Carson had a real life feud. And it wasn't because of their shows. It was they used to live close to each other. And Johnny Carson actually got Letterman's car towed because he said it was an eyesore. And so it got presided over on a real People's Court show, one of the more fascinating shows. And he awarded David Letterman $125 off of that. That's just so the fascinating thing about that. But Judge Wapner, he passed today. So not a shout out, but rest in peace and condolences to the family, to the Wapner family. He was 97 years old. He was in his 60s when he was doing the show. He was in his 60s and early 70s when he was doing the show, and was an actual judge. He was a real life judge. He retired by that point. Anyway, I've talked enough. Let's get into some Leon Ware right here. It is 312-754-4333. Your home is Urban Broadcast Media, your home of the D. Curtis Randall Show. D. Curtis Randall also producing this show, and he'll be on in the morning, 7 to 10. So you guys tune in. Urban Broadcast Media. Diggy's Funk Soul Explosion take you up until 4 o'clock. Let's go.